only to a certain extent. And the rest of it was just pretty much improvising, you know? Like the most intellectualizing that I've done on a drum kit was figuring out what rhythms represent. In other words, like if I learned what a particular rhythm was, you know, any kind of rhythm, you know, like nines or whatever, I would figure, okay, that's what it is. And when I would do them on a drum set, I would just pick and choose wherever I wanted them to go and just make beats out of them or you know, like Gary would suggest like taking a pattern, you know, like let's say fives, for example, you know. If you have the pattern of a 5-stroke roll, you know. And breaking up doubles, taking the first stroke of the doubles, putting them on a tom-tom. You know, and doing things like that. So you could take like linear means just what it is, that it's non-harmonic, meaning that you're not hitting like 2 notes at one time, you know. You know, like a mixture of, let's take a 5 and a 7, you know. And then you're gonna make part of it harmonic and part of it linear, you know. You know, so it's just your imagination. You know? So what I would do is I would take, and the only reason that I would play like everything that I would think of would be for a specific sound, you know. You know, all those kind of licks would be because they sounded hip. You know, not because it was a great intellectual exercise or because it was, well, let's try this and see what it does. I never did it for that reason, you know. Split your hands, you know. I just tried to do it for the sound of it, and I only intellectualized it to a certain degree. I mean, there are a lot of Gary's students who know way more about that than I do. Jonathan, for example. I mean, this guy, Jonathan Mover, right here, he knows Gary stuff inside and out. So you should really ask him about the linear stuff, you know. But that's how I approached it, you know. You know, I would just take up the fill, you know. Just practice different things for however they sound, you know. And I realized that like if I took 7 notes like that, I'm just trying to reduce it to a simple level, you know, like when I was with Frankie, if I was playing a groove like instead of playing like somehow it sounded fatter, but it's a little different than. Into it with a 5-stroke roll, and it kind of prepares you, fattens the beginning of it, and the whole fill is a little fatter than 8 notes, you know. You know, so I practice things like that, and or with mixing it up with the bass drum, you know. And it just worked for me. So that's how I worked on the linear thing. I mean. But I did, because like some of Gary's stuff also was actually awkward for me. So I would like stray away from it. And it was funny because me and Steve Smith were taking lessons at the same time from Gary. And when we would take with those patterns, like going up the drums, things like that were really awkward. And I'd see Steve practicing and I'd be trying to practice. And you know, how do you do that? You know, it's like, it was hard for me. I just kind of forget that, you know. You know, my arm didn't want to go that way, so I just forget, I'll go this way, you know. Practice. Sorry, oh wait, no, okay, wait. Practice goes back up the drums, you know. Somehow doing that motion was awkward, like playing patterns. So I don't know, you know. So I just made up my own things that were, I was lazy, you know. I used a lot of doubles too. I was just, because I was, you know, I was just too lazy. Honestly, I was lazy and I didn't want to, you know, too much physical motion. I didn't want to make the sticks do the work, you know. Didn't want to go in any awkward motions where I expend too much energy. And even now, you know, it's like the same thing, you know. I try to set up my stuff as close as I can, so I don't have to reach too far. Getting old. Yes. And so, instead of playing, I just play. Just replacing 2 notes with 2 kick drums, or however you want to do it. Any combination you want, you know. You could just arbitrarily, you know. Mix and match. Yes?
Yeah, could you explain a little bit of time displacement, like over a 4-bar phrase?
A little bit of time displacement. Yeah, sure. Over a 4-bar phrase. Sure. So, time displacement or the way I approach it is just to always sound like at least there's some kind of a beat going on. And so I usually mix it up and just superimpose rhythms, you know, the things that I can superimpose, you know. You can get out of the 16th note thing too. You know, instead of... Well, this is always happening, you know. Play any kind of reggae or whatever. So the easiest way is to just subdivide 16th notes using that rhythmic beat. You know, or however you want to do it with 5s and 3s and all that stuff. That's the best way is to, and you know, you use one until you get comfortable with it, you know. Experiment, play around, you know, with different subdivisions. It's subdivided 4/4 and 3/16. And I'm going to play on that for a little while, and I'm going to say top of the day. Okay, thank you. very much.